For over a century, science fiction writers have explored the concept of artificial intelligence. As far back as 1872, an author by the name of Samuel Butler raised questions of conscious machines in his novel called Erwan. Fast forward to 2023 and we have OpenAI's ChatGPT. If you haven't heard of or used ChatGPT before, well, it's basically an AI chatbot that when asked questions, it responds in a conversational, human-like way. I've had my fair share of playing with ChatGPT. I've asked it philosophical questions. I've asked it to write computer code. I've asked it to write a YouTube video script. And I gotta say, it's pretty damn good. But then I thought to myself, wait a minute. If this thing is really this intelligent, can it also create a profitable trading strategy in PineScript? Before I knew it, oh my goodness, I did it. I went ahead and asked the question. I asked ChatGPT to create a 90% win rate strategy in PineScript that utilizes up to 5 TradingView indicators. I asked it and waited for it to reveal to me this strategy that's gonna change my trading career forever. I don't know why I was expecting something different, but seriously, jokes aside, ChatGPT is really good. For example, we can ask it simple questions like, what is TradingView? And done. We can ask it, what is a trading strategy? And done. And since it couldn't generate a profitable strategy out of the blue, what if we specify our own conditions? What if we asked it to create a trading strategy using our own indicators and entry conditions? So I'm gonna go for something simple. Let's say, write a PineScript strategy code that buys an asset when it closes above the 21 period SMA and sells it when it closes below the 21 period SMA. And as you can see here, it's generating the code. Now, for some reason, it decided to use Apple. We don't want it to use Apple. We want a strategy that can work on anything: stocks, crypto, forex, etc. So I'm gonna tell it to not specify the asset, just use the default close price and 21 period SMA. Now it's generating the code and it's done. Now we're gonna copy this code and then take it all the way to TradingView, paste it in the Pine editor, save it, and then we're gonna add it to the chart to see if it works. And as you can see, this strategy code isn't generating any data. Now, I don't know a lot of PineScript, so I can't quite figure out what the problem is with this code. But good thing for us, we have ChatGPT. So we're gonna go back and tell it that the code doesn't work and ask it to generate something else that actually works this time round. And just like that, we have a version of code that might probably work. Right here on this line, you'll notice it's defining the close price as close, which is kind of redundant. You could just use the close price. You don't have to define it. So I'm just gonna tell it to not define the close price, just use the default close price. And again, here it's generating the code and it's done. Now, since this is a moving average strategy, we could ask it to also add some lines of code to basically plot the SMA on the chart. So I'm gonna say, also please add a code block to plot the SMA on the chart. Give it a green color and use the thickness of 2. And it's generating the code and it's done. So this code by itself will print a 21 period SMA on the chart. But we need it to add to the main strategy script, and it's gonna do that next. And right here, as we can see, it's done adding the code to the main strategy script. Also, the good thing about generating code with ChatGPT is that it actually explains everything the code is gonna do. This is so helpful if you're learning a programming language. It can really help you understand what the code is actually gonna do. One thing you'll notice with this code so far is that the color parameter is not specified correctly. PineScript uses a color namespace written as color followed by a period. So we're gonna ask it to use color period before the color name. And just like that, we have an updated version of the code that might actually work. Now, if you've seen PineScript code before, you'll notice that they usually have a version directive at the top, like version 4 or version 5. And also, if it's a strategy script, they usually have a strategy function containing the strategy name, overlay status, and some other things. Our code doesn't have any of that, so I'm gonna ask it to add those two things. And I'm also trying to keep the conversation more human-like because the goal of ChatGPT is not to only mimic human intelligence, but also to take your inputs in natural language with all its nuances and give you a response. Sometimes you could even have spelling mistakes or grammatical errors, but as long as they don't distract from the context of what you're trying to say, ChatGPT doesn't care. Okay, we have the code and it made yet another mistake. As we can see here, the version directive is put as a parameter inside the strategy function. This isn't PineScript, it made this up. Sometimes ChatGPT can just make stuff up. You have to know what you're doing or a little bit of what you're doing and give it the correct instructions. So I'm just gonna say and we have the code. The version directive should be put on the first line, so I'm gonna tell it to do exactly that. Now as you can see here, it did exactly that, but there is a problem. The version directive is supposed to be a comment, not a normal line of code. So let's change that. And finally, we have a version of code that might actually work out of the box. So I'm gonna copy it and take it to my trading view. I'm gonna paste it in the Pine editor. We're gonna save it. And then we're gonna add it to the chart. Now, as you can see here, it's profitable, but of course we have to change some trading parameters. So let's say we're gonna use an order size of 50% of equity. And wait, what? 40,600% profit? A maximum drawdown of 30.2%? It even had a really good profit factor. The win rate was 31.84%. The number of trades was 179, which is pretty decent. I wonder what the risk to reward ratio was. Let's see. The risk to reward ratio was 1 to 3.859. But these results can't be this good, right? There has to be something behind it. Oh, I think it's because we're using it on Bitcoin, which had a massive bull run since 2011. Because as you can see here from trade number 143, which was around early 2021, the bull run ended and the strategy also stopped making money. At the same time, it could also be because of the time frame. What if we go to other time frames, like the 4-hour time frame? Nearly 600 trades and it's still profitable. But of course, the drawdown is significantly higher. Now, what about the 1-hour time frame? Let's find out. You could have taken 1,000 trades only to lose money. What about scalping timeframes? Maybe the 15-minute time frame. Oops, you would have lost money. The strategy simply doesn't work. But of course, it shouldn't work. It's an EMA crossover strategy. Come on. The point of this video is not to show you a profitable trading strategy, but rather to show you the future of technology, which subsequently is going to be the future of trading. Of course, ChatGPT right now has a lot of problems, and as we saw while writing the code, it doesn't know a lot of things. Or actually, it knows a lot of things, it just doesn't know how to piece them together. So sometimes it just makes things up. But in a few months or years, when this technology gets better, you will be able to just go to ChatGPT and be like,
"Hey, I need a PineScript code for 10 moving averages, the RSI indicator, the MACD, a 14-period ATR, the Ichimoku cloud, and the supertrend indicator so I can use all of them on my free TradingView plan."
And ChatGPT will be like,
"Sure, here you go."
And just like that, you could have as many indicators as possible on your free TradingView plan without knowing how to code. This future is coming, and it's coming so fast, so we should lean into it. Now, looking at this chart, we asked ChatGPT to plot the SMA on the chart, but it's not plotted on the chart. Instead, it's plotted on this data window right here. To change that, we're gonna go to the code and set the overlay to true, and then save the code, add it to the chart, delete the previous one, and just like that, we have the SMA plotted on the chart. What do you guys think of ChatGPT? And if you know a little bit of PineScript like me, do you use ChatGPT in your coding? Let us know in the comment section below. If you found value in this video, hit the like button below and consider subscribing to stay tuned. That's been it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.